Many times when we are talking about SDGs, the framework within which we may want to look at some of these things in a very broad way are issues of national policies, are now issues of county policies, are issues of legislation, whether they are national legislations or county legislations, and the extent at which those policies and legislations direct execution of all that we are talking about here. When we are talking about water, we are talking about environment, we are talking about what are those kind of policies that are in those areas, whether they are county or they are national. To what extent do we have legislations around them that work? Then to what extent do we have them executed? So this is the first challenge that I want to bring around. As agencies, as stakeholders, in this general bigger field of SDGs. On our side as a caucus, we have placed ourselves forward and in an open manner to work with agencies and the government, particularly in terms of what I mentioned as number one. You working around a goal. Have you taken time to look at the legislation around that goal? And have you at one moment realized that there could be a challenge in certain aspects, in certain provisions of the legislations that make your goal not to be properly implemented? Have you looked at that? We want to give you an offer, and this is an offer that we've been giving all the time, that in the caucus, or as a caucus, we want you to place that kind of a challenge in front of us. Let's discuss it. Let's see that it is really a problem, and we'll pick it up. If it is legislation, we want to pick it up through to Bunge, to Parliament, directly. If it is whatever it is policy, we want to start engaging. But somebody must sit, somebody must isolate, somebody must bring these things to the table.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. Honorable Dr. Gideon Ochanda, for your very provocative remarks, setting the stage, and importantly, your commitment in terms of your caucus in supporting us, particularly in areas of legislation and policy gaps. We will be taking up that offer, definitely.
As a private sector, we contribute to the SDGs in many ways. When I look around, I see many private sector players. CAM is here, Safaricom is here, Bankers Association, all that. So in looking at the SDGs, we contribute to realize to sustainable development in Kenya. And we all know that the Kenyan economy is very market-driven. So we want to ensure that that market remains free and fair. The 2030 agenda acknowledges the role of the diverse private sector in the implementation of this new agenda. And they call on us as business to apply the creativity and innovation to solve these development challenges. In Kenya, we appreciate the close collaboration between the government and the private sector. We have institutionalized a lot of public-private dialogue platforms, including the Presidential Roundtable, the Roundtable with both houses of Parliament, the COG, and the different ministries where we work with. And we thank the government for those opportunities. Going forward, we want to embrace all these sustainable goals by playing a critical role in their implementation within the established agendas, including the Vision 2030.
I stand here representing civil society as an entity. For us to really make good progress within the SDGs, it's important that there is concerted effort amongst all the stakeholders. It's important that we work together, more so now with the COVID-19 being a serious pandemic that has affected the delivery of the SDGs. In the last UN General Assembly meeting, it was very clear that yes, COVID-19 had taken us backwards. So more effort is needed. And that's why this convening is really important, because it helps us to see where there is good practice that we can learn from. And this good practice is emerging at different levels. At national level, we know that Kenya government has been a true champion of the SDGs, having prioritized the delivery of the SDGs really very early, developing a clear roadmap, and also being part of the discussions that we are having around a multi-stakeholder engagement framework for the SDGs. So we hope that the discussions today will enable us to really move on with this journey that we started in 2018, looking at the engagement framework and what it means for us. Let's see what we can do together so that we can realize the commitments that we've made in this framework.
Our last assessment revealed that all the county governments have mainstreamed SDGs in their planning, and progressively implementation of SDGs is happening, though with various successes and challenges, as we all know. And the council went further, working with the Public Service Performance Management Unit to mainstream SDGs in performance contracting at the county government level. So we've been supporting counties to sign performance contracts. As you know, it's a government tool for enhancing service delivery. And progressively, from the last financial year, we had 24 counties signing performance contracts. And we've seen this progressively increasing. And we see this as an avenue of deepening SDGs implementation at the county level. To ensure SDGs institutionalization, we have developed an institutional framework which borrows heavily from the national framework, supported by the SDGs unit, where the county SDG champion is resident, but coordinated from the CEC subcommittee on SDGs, which is responsible for policy and budgeting, then the county SDG steering committee for the chief officers for planning and execution, and then most importantly, the county SDGs interagency committee, where we seek to incorporate the private sector, the civil society, the academia, and all other stakeholders operating at the county level. So we hope that when this institutional framework is fully operational, we will have a seamless coordination in terms of SDGs implementation.
This conference is the third in a series of conferences which, with the first one having been held in 2018 and the second one in 2019. And the theme of this conference is a decade of action, reaffirming our collective commitment to the SDGs and rebuilding from COVID-19 pandemic. And it comes at a time when the world is really weighed heavily under the burden of COVID-19 pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm grateful to the many stakeholders that have come to share their expertise, knowledge, ideas, and contributions. Even from the few that we've had this morning, I can see a lot of commitment, a lot of expertise, a lot of knowledge, and I know they have so many ideas, and I know during these 2 days we shall be sharing your ideas, and we expect a lot of contributions from you. It is with this and your support and collaborative efforts that we as a country will be able to ensure the smooth implementation of SDGs and running of the economy of this country. As we dedicate these 2 days to sharing experiences and discussing on strategies to accelerate the implementation of the 2030 agenda, as well as building back better after COVID-19, let me state that stakeholders' engagement and public participation are integral elements to the State Department for planning work in developing and designing and implementing policies and strategies that benefit all Kenyans. It is my wish that this engagement not only blossoms stakeholders' relationship in the SDGs process, but a means to help build better relationships with the societies in which we operate, ultimately resulting in improved planning and performance. Since the SDGs came into effect in January 2016, Kenya, in collaboration with stakeholders, has been implementing the 2030 agenda and has achieved key milestones. More importantly, the mainstreaming of SDGs in planning framework at both national and county levels. The continuous awareness creation and capacity building programs position the country to better implement the SDGs. The actions being undertaken in form of various strategies, projects and programs have resulted in progress in the implementation of the goals, targets and indicators. According to the 2020 Voluntary National Review, VNR, presented by a Cabinet Secretary to the United Nations member states during the 2020 High-Level Political Forum, good progress has been made in SDG 3, that is health, SDG 4, education, SDG 6, provision of clean water and sanitation, SDG 7, access to clean and affordable energy, and SDG 11, ensuring sustainable cities and communities. The government also contributed to implement social protection programs and affirmative action programs across the country with the aim of ensuring that all Kenyans live in dignity and exploit their human capabilities for social and economic development. It is essential that we seize the opportunity to work together and forcefully identify the additional difficulties that the current pandemic presents in achieving the 2030 agenda. We must redouble our commitment and our efforts to ensure that the impact of the pandemic on the SDGs is reversed and the country is back on track towards achieving the SDGs. We should all heed the lessons learned from the wake-up call to formulate the kinds of transitions needed to build a healthier, more resilient, and more sustainable Kenya.
We are all in SDGs process, and each one of us is doing something on SDGs. Probably we may not even be able to say that I'm addressing a certain SDG, but we are all stakeholders in SDGs, and probably you are doing something and your neighbor does not know that you are doing it. So we want to take this opportunity to use this forum so that we share what we've been able to do. Probably what you are doing is what I'm doing, and I want to learn from you so that I can do it better and improve on my performance. So we are going to use this platform to share our practical solutions to the various challenges that we have been facing through what we have been doing. Then we are going to give you a status of where we are in terms of the SDGs. We have prepared a voluntary report for Kenya, and for those who may not be aware, Kenya was among the 149 countries that prepared and presented their report to the UN member state this year. And the first one we did in 2017, so this was the second progress VNR report. It was done and presented by our CS on 13th of July 2020. Unfortunately, it was done virtually, and probably we were not able to have many people get on board to see the report. But the presentation that we have done and the report itself in the ministry's website. The presentation by the CS is also in the ministry's website. So we are going to give you a status of where we are through dissemination of that voluntary report.
We've learned a lot of ideas that we need to forge forward together in terms of developing acceleration action plans for SDGs implementation, and the need to strengthen the partnership with private sector, civil society, the academia, as well as the national government in accelerating SDGs implementation. So I just want to say it's been a good two-day session, and we hope that all that we've resolved, the way forward, will carry it forward into implementation. Otherwise, thank you very much, and we look forward to regular engagement.
We're keen to work with you from the private sector, SDGs Kenya Forum, Council of Governors, and of course the ministries. We are open to work with you, we are committed. We are quite a team, and so we are open for any other invitation, any collaborations, and I think for any politician who participated in this, and I know some of you in the civil society, you are looking forward to become politicians. You don't need to look further for your manifesto. If you just concentrate on 17 goals, you'll have the best manifesto, not just on paper, but implementation is key.
We recognize the importance of the SDGs, that's why we have a caucus. Of course, you can't form a caucus unless the Speaker of the House approves it, and we have to get at least a minimum of 19 members. We've got a good secretariat that really works tirelessly to look for funding. It would be nice if the Treasury could also help fund our caucus activities, because we can only do so much with donor money, and donors right now are shrinking. I'd be wrong to sit down without recognizing the SDG Forum, Kenya Forum, for the work that they've done, not just in Kenya, but also across the globe. They involved us in everything. They were instrumental in helping us have a very successful SDG Open Day. So it's important. The decade of action, 1 year is gone, and it was a year of pandemic. So what we need is more interactions, not waiting for donors to put us together. Even Treasury can put us together, because Treasury is funding the 17 SDGs. So they should be able to put a team together that continuously works from private sector to civil society, as well as government and the executive, to continuously work to attain. Once a year meeting is not sufficient for us to track our progress.
Let me begin by thanking you all, speakers, moderators, and participants, for the very engaging, thought-provoking, informative discussions in the past 2 days, focusing on how to deliver a transformed and prosperous Kenya. The valuable information that you shared regarding the SDGs and the impact of COVID-19 in their implementation has provided an important overview of challenges and possible solutions to ensure that post-pandemic we are able to build back better. Ladies and gentlemen, while the focus of some of the interventions was that we must accelerate current efforts over the remaining period, it is also very clear that significant challenges to implementation still remain. These include data gaps, inadequate financing for SDGs, and effect of climate change, among others, all of which are key barriers or obstacles to progress. In addition, the onset of COVID-19 pandemic, governance and accountability system continue to impede progress. Ladies and gentlemen, there was also a clear message on the importance of engaging different stakeholders, not only to implement, but also to monitor progress in SDG implementation. It is important to ensure the voices of specific groups, such as women, youth, persons with disability, are heard. Clearly, participation of all the stakeholders is the key to all levels in order to bring together diverse expertise and resources to increase impact and ensure the much needed progress of SDG in this decade of action. In addition, many speakers stress the need to prioritize engaging other key partners. Ladies and gentlemen, adequate and sustained resourcing is absolutely critical to accelerate progress toward the SDGs. It is now time to also start looking for innovative ways of increasing funding to the SDGs related sectors, especially post-COVID-19, if we want to see real progress in achieving the SDGs and ensure that development gains and achievement of rights are equally employed by all without leaving anyone behind.
And every organization, each and every individual who is here, at the heart of SDGs, we say that it's about leaving no one behind. It's about inclusion, whether it is about women, whether it is about the youth, whether it is about a person with disability, whether it is about the poor people, whether it is about the marginalized, or whatever section of the community that you can think about. And now, as we think of the stakeholder engagement and as we think of moving forward, that is a call we need to rally behind, that we need to ensure that we leave no one behind, and everyone who is here and the many others who are not with us, we can be able to rally them around this call, and for sure that the achievement of SDGs is going to be within our reach.
Tonight, what we're going to do is to recognize, at least from each of the 7 proposed categories. So usually every year we select a number of categories and partners who've been working in that space. And for 2020, we'll be looking at 7 proposed categories. And part of the criteria is to look for the most active institutions or organizations with the tangible evidence on SDGs implementation, monitoring and review.
The nominees were nominated by the respective sector leads in the SDGs Interagency Technical Working Committee, chaired by the State Department for Planning, and the co-chairs are SDGs Kenya Forum. We also had KEPSA, and members include Council of Governors as well, Parliamentary Caucus on SDGs and Business, academia, youth and media representatives. In giving these awards, the broad focus was on 4 criteria. 1, extent to which there has been positive impact, particularly in the theme, Leave No One Behind. 2, a decade of action, reaffirming our collective commitments to the SDGs and rebuilding from COVID-19 pandemic. 3, demonstrated ability or potential to scale up rapidly the SDGs. And 4, commitment and consistency in implementing the SDGs that has been nothing short of innovative and inspiring. So those were the 4 criteria that were being looked at as the nominees were selected.
That's the second runners-up, Kakamega County. So we're going to have the second runners-up, which is Kwale County. And the winner in this category, which is quite obvious, is Makueni County. Particular category, we were looking for media houses that had stories published, reported in line with the SDGs implementation, monitoring and review in the year 2020. The second runners-up, it was the media house that stories Published stories reported in line with the SDGs implementation and monitoring and review in 2020 is second runners-up is Standard Media Group. First runners-up was Nation Media Group.
The criteria is a company that has mainstreamed SDGs in their business models and is demonstrating positive impact with economic growth, environmental and social pillars. Second runners-up is Kenya Commercial Bank Group Limited. The first runners-up is Safaricom. Well done, Safaricom. The winner in this category is East African Breweries Limited. I hope the tables are full with your products. Criteria for this award is youth organizations that have been vibrantly engaged in SDGs implementation, monitoring and review within the year 2020. Second runners-up is Organization of Africa Youth Kenya. Is Sustainable Development Solutions Network. Well done. Winner in this category is Youth Agenda Kenya. Makofi.
Yes, okay. Good.
Second runners-up is Article 19. The first runners-up is Mind Me International. And the winners in this category is ILEPA. Those are the three nominees: Honorable Makali Muli, Honorable Sabina Chege, and Honorable Esther Passaris. Those are the three nominees in that category. Second runners-up is Honorable Makali Mulu, who is not here but is represented. The first runners-up, Honorable Sabina Chege, is Honorable Esther Passaris, County MP, Women Rep, Nairobi County. Congratulations, Mheshimiwa. Situwapigie makofi wote tena kabisa.
The purpose of giving you this award is to motivate you to continue working for SDGs. Your commitment, your sacrifice, and your committing of resources is very important. So that award, don't take it for granted. It is because you have achieved a lot, and it will even motivate you to do more. And we want to bring more people on board. We want to bring many people in the civil society, many people even in parliament, to participate in implementing the SDGs.
Foremost, I'd like to thank the PS, the CAS, the honorable members, and also all the leadership from the State Department of Planning for this great collaboration that we've had for the past 2 days. And also maybe just to acknowledge the Interagency Technical Working Committee that is made up of multiple stakeholders, and I think this was mentioned before. So all the committee members, they've actually been planning this event for the past 2 months. So I'd like to say kudos to this committee, and also for us to keep moving on and going on. I'd also like to thank the various members of this committee, because they've been able to mobilize their own constituency, starting with Imelda with the Parliamentary Caucus, and then coming to Professor Gituro Wanaina, who's also a member, and then the KEPSA colleagues for also the private sector, and then we have Benedict Omolo for the media, From civil society, this is a collective action from the SDGs Kenya Forum. The team, it's a huge team, and maybe some of them are out there, but we have Dr. Rose Onwatch and Eva Komba, Festus, who was in charge of these awards, Arnold and Winnie. This team has been really running around trying and putting together this particular event. I would not stand here to take any of that credit because it's been a team effort, and I'm really, really happy to say asanteni sana for all that. Then I also want to thank all of you as participants for making this journey, this very brief journey during these very tough times. Of course, we believe that God is our protector, but it's been good for us to come together physically and also to really invest time. So let me stop there because there's so much I could say, but I really want the band to go on. So from all of us as the co-organizers, Madam Sarah and our team also, is to say asanteni sana for making this brief journey. As you go back, may God bless you and may you be protected. We hope and pray that next year, God willing, we'll have these events. I know there's a proposal to even have 2 events in 1 year so that we can have more time to talk and just deliberate and plan forward. So allow me to stop there and to say enjoy your evening. Thank you for making this event very colorful and very possible. From all of us, the co-organizers, we say asanteni and God bless you. Have a safe journey. Thank you so much.